What's your take, Ashley, on like the on what you think's going to happen in terms of Bernie winning or not?
You know, I'm kind of with Jake a little bit. Like, I really, in 2016, I was extremely confident that Bernie was going to win the primary. And when he lost, like, it really sucked a lot of the confidence out of me. And then, of course, the UK election happened, and that made me even less confident, because from what I had seen in my little bubble is that everyone was so pro Corbyn, and Corbyn was so popular.
Same.
And I really thought, God, he's got it in the bag. And then it was like a crushing defeat. And honestly, like, my absolute gut feeling is that Trump is going to get a second term, which sucks really bad.
Yeah.
And I really hope that it's not the case. But it's just his supporters are so fervent, and they don't care what he says or what he does. They're just at his back, and they like what he's doing. And I guess I'm just a little unconfident about going forward, but I'm going to throw all my weight behind Bernie and try and spread his message and like get people to vote for him and donate to him. But it's just I'm very what's the word?
Skeptical.
Jaded.
Yeah. Do you think that would be the case no matter if Bernie won the nomination or not?
You know, if he wins the nomination, I'll be a little bit more confident, but I also think if he wins the nomination, he's going to be absolutely destroyed by the media. And so far, the right-wing media hasn't really went after him. Like, they tend to be focusing on Elizabeth Warren and like Biden. That's like the ones that they really focus on.
Yeah.
So when Bernie wins the nomination, we're gonna go like full fucking Red Scare. Like the right wing media are going to like whip up some communist fear, and I do worry about that, because I feel like when they do that, it might inspire voters who, well, like new voters who are conservative to come out in droves to prevent communism. I worry about that a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I worry a little less about that. I'll say that communism doesn't have the same socialism. It's definitely more positively perceived. And also, I think this Elizabeth Warren thing, it is actually the like diametric opposite, the yin to the yang of the deplorables thing back in the 2016 election. Because the deplorables, when Hillary Clinton called Donald Trump's support deplorables, like this is the basket of deplorables, which is the least catchy thing I've ever heard in my life. But it was also a thing that galvanized and mobilized his supporters. And this exact same thing, this Bernie Sanders is sexist episode that we've gone through has mobilized people in a way that is, I mean, you can look at the evidence, in the donation numbers that we brought up earlier, but also just in the pure activity of people pushing back against this. There's been so much of it, not just people on Twitter, not just people on, various social media, but also the actual left media infrastructure is pushing back on it. They're saying this is BS, and people with a lot of attention are saying it, and it's creating a sort of a feedback loop where people are like, no, we're not taking this. And I don't think that was there in 2016. In fact, Bernie Sanders wasn't even seriously campaigning until January of that year, whereas he's been campaigning since
for
June.
sure. I mean, it's did she say basket of deplorables?
She called Trump support people who belong in a basket of deplorables, which is, like I said, the least catchy. It is the least, like, it's not a clever insult. It doesn't roll off the tongue. It sounds like something someone who has no idea how to make someone else angry, but like they knew what she was doing at the same time. Essentially,
well, the reason I think it works that way is because I think that the liberal and conservative mentality essentially relies on like having an elitist group that's above the masses. So the conservatives see themselves as above the fucking, you know, hungry, grabby, lazy, shitty, non-entrepreneurial, non-able to pull themselves up by the bootstraps masses. And then the liberals see themselves as the moral fucking elite. They see themselves as the moral elite, and they see themselves as as people who are able to see the world in a way that allows them to be more compassionate, even though they're really just out for their own self-gain. And I think that what makes Bernie Sanders' message so refreshing is the fact that it's not an elite, it's us together.
yeah, specifically not me, us.
Not me, us. Yeah, that's the fucking slogan. And I mean, this is what is missing in our culture. This is what people want to see. They don't want to be talked down to. They don't want to be told they're stupid. And Elizabeth Warren lying like that is literally insulting the intelligence of the entire voter constituency.
Absolutely.
Thinking that they're unable or unwilling to look beyond this sort of binary thinking to come to the truth. And I think she really shot herself in the foot.
Basket of Deplorables sounds like if a mum was like, oh, I heard you kids talking about banter, and I Googled it. And you're all a basket of deplorables.
She just runs off into the other room with her fucking wine glass.
Oh my